War begins not with a sound, but with silence, the silence before the first shell falls, the stillness before people run for their lives. In Ukraine today, that silence has been broken far too often. Families who once lived ordinary lives filled with laughter, school days, and morning coffee now find themselves surrounded by the constant echo of explosions. The question is no longer when peace will come, but how long their resilience can hold against endless fire. In the city of Kharkiv, Alina, a mother of two, wakes up every morning not to the sound of birds but to the wailing sirens warning of incoming missiles. She used to be a teacher, her greatest worry being whether her students had studied for their exams. Now, her classroom is rubble, and her lessons have been replaced by hurried instructions to her children about where to hide when the walls shake. Her story is not unique, it reflects millions of voices across a country fighting to exist. Her husband, Dmytro, had once been a computer engineer, working remotely for a company in Germany. When the invasion escalated, he didn't hesitate. He left his laptop behind and joined the territorial defense. His children, still too young to understand politics or borders, only knew that their father was gone more often than he was home. And when he did return, his face carried new scars, some visible, others buried deep in his eyes. The war has pulled apart entire families like Alina's, scattering them across Europe. Trains filled with frightened passengers leave every day, mothers holding onto passports as if they were lifelines, children gripping toys that remind them of home, and elderly grandparents unsure if they will ever see their hometowns again. At the border, strangers comfort strangers. Volunteers hand out blankets, soup, and water, proving that even in the darkest times, humanity survives. But inside Ukraine, those who remain face relentless danger. The winter has been especially cruel. Without steady electricity, many families huddle in freezing basements, lighting candles not just for warmth but for hope. In Kiev, the capital, entire neighborhoods go dark when power stations are struck, leaving the once bright skyline in silence. Yet, even in darkness, life pushes forward. Couples still marry, babies are still born, and students log into online classes whenever the internet allows. Life refuses to surrender. Among those students is Maxim, a 16-year-old who dreams of becoming a doctor. Before the war, his passion was football, spending hours playing with friends on a dusty field near his school. Now that field is cratered by shells, but his determination hasn't faded. He spends nights by candlelight studying biology, whispering to himself that one day he will heal the wounds of his nation. His hope fuels his mother's strength, reminding her that war cannot steal the future from those who dare to imagine it. Yet not every story carries the promise of tomorrow. In Mariupol, entire blocks have been erased. Families vanish under the rubble, their lives reduced to names on lists of the missing. The city, once known for its steel industry and bustling port, became a symbol of siege and suffering. People like Serhiy, a factory worker, had to choose between staying to protect his home or leaving to protect his family. When food ran out and water lines broke, he dug wells with his neighbors, sharing what little they had. Hunger, he said, was easier to bear than the thought of giving up. These human stories paint a portrait larger than any battlefield map can show. Ukraine under fire is not just about territory, it's about humanity. Each destroyed school is a lost childhood. Each broken bridge is a severed connection between communities. Each grave dug in frozen ground is a reminder that freedom has a price. But with every loss, Ukrainians also find strength in unity. They sing in shelters, paint murals on walls scarred by shrapnel, and raise their flag higher, defiantly telling the world that they are still here. The international community watches, some offering aid, others weapons, and many offering words of solidarity. Yet for the Ukrainian people, solidarity must be lived, not spoken. For Alina, it is the neighbor who shares bread when stores run dry. For Maxim, it is the teacher who continues lessons through crackling internet connections. For Dmytro, it is the comrade who risks his life to pull another soldier to safety. For Serhiy, it is the stranger in Poland who took his wife and children into their home when they fled. What's happening now is more than a conflict, it is a test of endurance, humanity, and hope. As missiles rain down, the people of Ukraine show that while buildings can be destroyed, courage cannot. The fire that burns their cities also ignites their spirit. Every day they wake up, they prove that survival itself is an act of resistance. But they are not unbreakable. They carry grief like invisible armor. Children draw pictures of tanks and helicopters instead of flowers and houses. Mothers tuck their children in at night not with fairy tales but with promises that tomorrow might be safer. Soldiers carry the weight of both duty and longing, writing letters in the trenches that may never be sent. And yet, these very vulnerabilities are what make them so strong. When asked why she has not left Ukraine, Alina's reply was simple: because my children must know what home feels like. Her words echo the resilience of a people who refuse to be erased. Maxim, still bent over his biology books, believes that one day he will treat not only broken bones but also broken hearts. And Dmitro, though hardened by the front lines, believes that every step forward is for his children's tomorrow. Ukraine under fire is a story of pain, but it is also a story of courage. It is a reminder that even in the darkest hours of history, light exists in the F.